Good morning, beautiful people. Good morning, good morning. First of all, Happy New Year. Hope you guys had a great New Year's Eve celebration yesterday. You'll be watching this on Monday, which is January 3rd, I believe. So New Year's would have passed, but I'm recording this on New Year's Day for y'all. So I'm just saying Happy New Year in case, you guys don't hear from me for the rest of the week or you're not on Twitter or whatever. Hope everyone had a good day. I took it easy this year. I mean, former me probably would have gone out and partied all night, but my girlfriend and I just stayed in. We had some hot pot, which is bomb, and then we watched the movie. We watched some Harry Potter actually, so to prepare for the Harry Potter reunion show that actually happened today. So if you guys haven't checked it out, it's on HBO Max. It's pretty cool. They actually bring all the characters back and they talk about, Harry Potter, reminisce about stuff. They show you some behind the scenes, the interactions between the actors, where they are now. Anyway, it's pretty cool. I'm not like a huge Harry Potter fan myself, like my girlfriend is, but I still very much enjoyed it. Admittedly, I haven't even read all the books, so my girlfriend's like, you gotta definitely make sure you fix that. So we order the books on Kindle, and I'm gonna start reading them and getting through them now as quickly as I can. I know that's probably blasphemous to some people out there, and other people are like, who cares? It's Harry Potter. But I'm gonna check it out, see what happens. Anyways, it was a good thing. Make sure you guys check it out. But I got some stuff I want to talk about today. Some of it is a little bit of a refresh on some info, some strategy stuff that I talked about before, but I think it's important time to go over again because we are now heading into the off season. Although those of you guys out there that are DJs like me, there is no off season in Dynasty. In fact, the off season is my favorite time of the year for fantasy football. Not just fantasy football playing, trading, but also fantasy football content, because I can kind of start talking about whatever I want. I kind of already do that from a week basis. If you guys follow me and been following the channel for a while, but now kind of the creative freedom really kind of expands, and I get to basically start doing like whatever I want. So I think it's exciting times. But before we get into the meat of the content, man, y'all know what time it is by now. It's time to hit that intro. All right, so a couple of things I want to go over today. I think the first thing I want to get out of the way is just a little bit of very brief player talk, right? And and that relates to the 2021 QB class. I mean, I think it's no secret that everyone knows so far it's been a little bit disappointing from those that got to play. And everyone can blame the coaches, blame the coaching staff, whatever, but the players themselves have also been disappointing. I mean, even on guys who I was super high on, guys like Justin Fields, who I thought would come in and start letting it up on the ground. And don't get me wrong, Nagy's one of the worst head coaches in the NFL, and hopefully he gets canned soon. But Justin Fields hasn't exactly stepped up to the plate either. He's had a couple good games that showing us what he's capable of, which is nice, but he hasn't really done his part. And obviously, generational talent, Trevor Lawrence, Urban Meyer, disaster of a head coach, totally horrible, trash organization. But also, Trevor Lawrence has not been doing and putting up his part of the bargain in terms of the talent level. I mean, if you think back, look at Peyton Manning, Andrew Luck, these other types of generational talents. They didn't start, their careers didn't start off that hot, but they still showed up. And I feel like these are guys that are going to be depressed in value. Trey Lance has barely even played. Finally going to get his start this week with Jimmy Garoppolo injured. So going up against a pretty soft and cake Houston defense. So excited to see what he does there. I'm expecting a heavy dose of running on the ground and light air work, just because San Francisco should be favored in that matchup as well. But we're kind of getting excited to see what these players have to offer. But from a market perspective, their prices have gone down, right? In my ranks, their prices have gone down. Now, have I tanked Trevor Lawrence to an absolute, trash level quarterback? No, I like to stay a little bit more patient than just one season, especially one in as much of a circus as that has been for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Same with Justin Fields. I want to be more patient. But as you guys know, my ranks are somewhat tied and they flow with the market rate. I don't like being too far over my skis or too far behind the market on players that I think are reasonable, and especially in that top 50-ish. I don't really like to be too far behind, but I want to be just far enough so you can land them at a little bit of reach, or just low enough that you don't get them unless it's really good value. That's kind of how I think about ranks, right? So my rankings have evolved as well over time, and it's not like I've taken Trevor Lawrence and just moved him out of my top 50 because he sucks. That's not the case at all. Same with Justin Fields, same with Trey Lance. They're all still kind of doing the thing. In fact, Trey Lance, I don't think has moved too much at all. Like he's probably going to stay the same because we just haven't seen him play much. And in the one minimal sample size that we did see him get some playing time, he was exactly what we expected him to be. You know, a fantasy force on the ground and, you know, a very limited passer through the air. And, you know, people hate on Jalen Hurts all the time. And I tweeted something else saying, like, you know, if Trey Lance has a start of his career like what Jalen Hurts has as the start of his career, how high would you have Trey Lance ranked, right? And a lot of people said like top 5, you know, top 6, top 3. Like I would probably have him in that like 6 to 8 range, behind the truly elite guys. But I mean, and then if you think about it, the only difference between Trey Lance and Jalen Hurts is like, I mean, I'm sure many people will argue arm talent and passing, all that stuff, but from like a fantasy perspective, is like draft capital, right? Like Jalen Hurts was not drafted highly. If Jalen Hurts was drafted a lot higher, this would not be as big of an issue, but he wasn't, and there's always that uncertainty of the Eagles going out and replacing them. There's always every time there's like a big quarterback available, talked about trades or whatever, Eagles are always like, you know, leaked as part of the news, and that just makes sense because, you know, the coaching staff, the regime hasn't necessarily like pounded the pavement saying like, dude, this is our guy. They've kind of left it up in the air. So I myself have uncertainty, right, about Jalen Hurts. I love Jalen Hurts. I freaking love him as a player. But the reason why I can't project him so high in my ranks is because there is so much uncertainty there regarding his future. Now, if the Eagles come out and say, hey, this is our guy, or after next year's draft, they don't draft someone and they just spend their multiple first-round picks to build around him, which is what I think they should try and do, then it's going to be a different story. Jalen Hurts values in a skyrocket, and then like the Jalen Hurts upside is basically what you're going to hope for with Trey Lance, right? That's what we're hoping for. That's the dream. If we can get that with Trey Lance, that's going to be beautiful. So I'm excited to see what he does this season. Now, like there hasn't been too movement in terms of like relative ranks within those guys. Like I think Trevor Lawrence, Justin Fields, they're all still kind of like in that same 1, 2, 3 for me, but they have shifted down relative to other rookies. Like, you know, Jamar Chase is obviously skyrocketed up. Kyle Pitts, after the season he has been incredible. Even Najee Harris has gone up. Javonte Williams over the past back half of the past week, he's been incredible. Even sharing time with Melvin Gordon, so we can imagine what that role can develop into if it does become a sole backfield to him, which I think there's still a lot of question marks there. Like I'm not certain yet. I'm not exactly certain to be able to just pound the pavement and say, yeah, that's gonna be a bell cow 2022 because let's be honest, like Broncos haven't been the most well-run organization. So I hope that's the case, right? We hope that he's a bell cow. We hope Melvin Gordon's gone, and we hope they don't bring in someone else. But we just truly don't know. So when you don't know and there's uncertainty there, I'm never gonna price something fully as if it's definitely gonna happen because there's just too much stuff that we don't know, right? Like we thought we knew stuff. We thought Aaron Jones was gone, right? What happened? They brought him back. And A.J. Dillon, all the people that were drafting A.J. Dillon, it's like a top 10 running back. Now, like, they burn all that draft capital, right? So it's all about uncertainty. It's all about measuring that uncertainty and moving forward with that. But, you know, the crux of this episode I want to talk about is, you know, we are going into the Dynasty offseason right now. I've talked about this in prior episodes before, but there's different timings in terms of like when to sell rookie picks, when to buy rookie picks, when to sell veterans, when to buy veterans, and like I think understanding that is very, very important heading into this next quarter because this is where a lot of the action is going to be in terms of your dynasty teams. Like a lot of dynasties are built from January to May, man. Like by the time you get to September, I still do try and do a lot of trades, but like a lot of trades I did in the offseason is that those that do put in the work, do the research, and get out ahead of people early are the ones that really get to benefit from that knowledge, right? And that's what it's all about in this offseason is, you know, we're kind of coming up on championship week right now. So good luck to any of you guys out there that are still in championships. I have like maybe 5 or 6 teams still in championship week. All my best teams got eliminated last week because of like COVID and just underperformance from star players like Alvin Kamara. But you know what? That's life, man. That's life. I'm going to hopefully win a couple here with my remaining teams. But if I don't, I mean, that's life too. Honestly, this might be one of my worst performing fantasy seasons ever since I started. Now, I don't think I'm going to lose money, but like normally I make like, you know, 30 to anywhere between like 30 to like, you know, 60, 70, 80% ROI on what money I put in for fantasy football. This year, that might be low. I mean, maybe it's neutral. I don't know. I haven't calculated yet because we haven't won anything yet, but you know, once I calculate everything out, I'll do my regular annual tweak to show you guys what my ROI is. But I'm betting it's going to be one of the lowest ever since I started playing fantasy football, just because like a lot of crazy shit happened, man. But also like I made some big mistakes this year that cost me like a lot of heavy exposure to like injured players, a lot of heavy exposure to some guys that just didn't pan out, and that really burned me. But that plus COVID really, really burned me. Like Travis Kelce, for example, was on like a lot of my tier 1 seed teams. Jonathan Taylor had his like lowest week in like forever. He was on a lot of my teams. Christian McCaffrey, Saquon Barkley, like obviously they didn't do much. And then Alvin Kamara really, really burned me like last week. I was depending on Alvin Kamara heavily, and he just like totally did not do anything. So gonna be fun. I'm gonna see how it plays out. I'll let you guys know. But again, it comes back to the whole thing. We are now entering the offseason. Like, what do you do with your teams, right? I have people come in my DMs like, hey, what do I trade Stephon Diggs for? And the truth is, you don't trade Stephon Diggs right now. Like, this is not the time to trade Stephon Diggs, right? Like, from now until leading up until about, May, and then even leading up to the season is not the greatest time, is not the greatest time to sell veterans, right? Now is a great time to buy in on veterans. So especially towards April and May, like, I always talk about this all the time, but like I accumulate rookie picks throughout the season and like a year or 2 years in advance. That's when I'm accumulating rookie picks. But once again, in the offseason, I become a seller of rookie picks, and especially leading up to draft, not now exactly, but like closer to the draft around April, May, Combine, for example, like I'm looking to sell rookie picks because you have two various sell points, like major sell points with rookie picks, right? One, mainly because now like what the rookie pick order is more or less. But the first one is the Combine, right? The Combine is like the biggest event. It's the biggest news event. I mean, some people might argue like Senior Bowl is a big event. I don't care. Like there's like very few relevant players that I care about from the Senior Bowl every single year. So that's not really a main focus of mine. But the Combine is, even though like a lot of the Combine stuff doesn't necessarily matter in terms of fantasy performance, but it's a news hype cycle, right? You're always seeing like, I call it the Underwear Olympics because like that's how much hype there is. Like there's guys running in leotards and guys jumping in leotards, and people get all hyped up about it, and they get all hyped up about the numbers, and I do too. It's an exciting time, but you gotta basically leverage that euphoria that people are feeling and get them to buy high, get them to buy that FOMO. It's like, oh man, if you don't get this prospect, you don't get this rookie pick, like, I mean, your chance is gone, right? And that's the type of market you want to be selling into, right? Because all the eyes and all the focus is on the rookie picks, but not all the eyes on the veterans. So when it comes to rookie draft time, I'm constantly trying to acquire veterans. The best time to sell veterans is already past, right? I mean, maybe if your leagues don't have a trade deadline, you can still try and trade some veterans now for a haul, but like it's a very small market because there's really only the championship teams contending still. So you can try and sell to the contenders, try and get them into a bidding war and arms race. But honestly, the sell window for veterans has passed. So you should not be trying to sell veterans right now because this is a seller's market for rookie picks, not a seller's market for veterans. And that's what I would say like normally too, like 100% of the time. But I think, something I want to cover this today is I came across some very interesting tweets from I'm going to butcher this pronunciation, but Adeko or Adeko, or I'm so sorry, dude. If you watch this video, hit me up on Twitter and tell me how to pronounce it. But it's Adeko or Adeko _FF. So I'll drop him in the link in the comments below. But he's a great follow on Twitter. For some reason I wasn't following him. I thought I was following him already. But he like put up a bunch of great charts in my Patreon. He put up a bunch of great charts in Drew at DF Bean Counters Patreon. And yeah, he's just a great guy at ADEIKO _FF. His Twitter profile pic is that of a little penguin from Pingu. Shout out if you guys know Pingu. I mean, I remember I watched that when I was a kid. If you guys don't know what that is, I probably just aged myself, but whatever. But I'm gonna throw up a chart here on the screen, and this is pretty eye popping. So this shows based on, I think he said, the last 3 weeks of real ADP data from Sleeper. So paid money leagues. You guys know how much I hate like mock drafts and stuff like that because I don't think it's real. It's not realistic. But this is paid leagues in Sleeper, and this is an average draft position of the 2022 rookie picks. And how you do it in Sleeper, for those of you guys who don't know, how I set up the leagues is if you do a draft, I like to do 2 separate drafts, right? But I like to include the rookie picks in the startup draft so that people can determine the value of what they think those picks are worth. So, and the way to do it in Sleeper is instead of drafting like 1.01, you draft like a kicker. And that first kicker that gets drafted is 1.01. The next one is 1.02, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So that's a great way to do it in sleeper drafts. So he's put together some really, really cool ADP data. And as you can see here, the rookie 1.01 is going anywhere from the 26th pick, which is like the top of the third round, all the way down to pick 44, which is the fourth round. So that's pretty low, right, compared to historical. And you can see the rest of it as well, 1.02, 1.03 on the screen here. For those of you guys listening on the podcast, I recommend you go over to YouTube to check this out. But if not, I'll spit out some average numbers after the screen. There's just too much numbers to spit out here. But I think what's interesting here is this is pretty low for rookie picks, right? But it makes sense, right? The whole time we've been told what, right? The 2022 class sucks. The 2022 class is not good, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Now, I don't think that's true. I think there's still a lot of value to be had, but I think that is true from a top perspective, right? Because what is the value that drives rookie picks? And I think the next one will be very, very telling for you. So this compares 2021 to the current ADP for 2022 in season. And in 2021, the rookie 1.01 overall was going at the 12th overall pick. So Trevor Lawrence, if you recall like a year ago, I told you Trevor Lawrence would be a first-round startup pick out the gate before he plays a game. And eventually, by the end, he did creep up into the first round in Superflex leagues, obviously. Now that compared to currently, when we're looking at 2022, the average is pick 38. So a 26 spot difference, almost more than two full rounds of difference in terms of ADP for the rookie 1.01. And then you can go down the list. The 1.02 is about 19 spots of difference. 1.03 is about 18 spots difference. So, but everything is basically about a round to 2 rounds later, right? So somewhere between there, the full rookie first round class of 2022 is going a full round to 2 rounds later than 2021. Now, I want to try and understand why that's the case, right? And it makes sense because to me, the biggest drivers of rookie pick value are quarterbacks and running backs, because those are the most important positions in fantasy football, is the quarterback and the running back in terms of impacting your per game wins. Like wide receivers, we are flush with wide receiver talent right now in the NFL. Okay, so that doesn't mean they're worthless. It just means that they're worth less than the respective counterparts of quarterback and running back. If you nail down quarterback, running back, those are the most important positions you need to get right. And what we see in 2022 is this class is weak in those positions. Like there is no clear quarterback one, right? Last year, it was Trevor Lawrence. Everyone knew it was Trevor Lawrence, but then there was a lot of other elite prospects like Justin Fields. We had late riser Zach Wilson, right? We had Trey Lance who popped up too. But those are great. Those are all viewed as great quarterback with high projected draft capital, right? And they did go high. Like Trevor Lawrence 1.01, Zach Wilson 1.02, Trey Lance 1.03. Top 3 quarterbacks off the board. Justin Fields was a top 15 pick, right? And then you had Mac Jones, also a top 15 pick. So we had 5 quarterbacks that were projected very high capital quarterbacks. This class, we do not have that, right? A lot of these guys are being mocked into like the mid to late first round, a lot of these guys. So we don't have that type of depth this class. So it's not a surprise to me to see this much difference, because the 1.01 last year, we can put names to this. It'll make it more different. It'll make more sense, right? You have Trevor Lawrence, you had like Justin Fields, Trey Lance. We'll take your pick, right? You had Zach Wilson, and then you had Najee Harris, Jamar Chase. We also don't have that generational type of wide receiver in this class. We don't have a Jamar Chase, but what we do have is a lot of really, really good prospects. You have Treylon Burks, you have Garrett Wilson, right? You have these guys that are going to be, especially Drake London, obviously, and then you have David Bell, who's an analytical favorite, but might not have the NFL draft capital back him up. We'll see. But we don't have that generational guy. We don't have Jamar Chase, right? We don't have that generational guy in Kyle Pitts. So if you just look at the top of the class in 2022 versus 2021, it kind of makes sense why there's such a gap in value between what we're seeing now in ADP and what we're seeing from 2021, because it just isn't as strong, right? So I'm not surprised to see the gap. I am surprised to see the picks going that late, but I'm not surprised to see the gap. And I think, the next question that you guys asked, and I thought in my head was, well, like, didn't the 2021 picks like increase from January to May? And this was a really interesting data point from Adeko. All of these charts are from Adeko_FF. Again, I'm going to link his Twitter in the comments below. Make sure you guys go over there, follow him, comment on him, share his work. It's really, really cool stuff, what he's doing with ADP. He has a free to use Google Sheets as well. So again, I don't have any association with them. I just know, I think he's in the DF Bean Counter, friend of the show, the Bulletproof fantasy football. He's part of his team. So again, we don't have any affiliations, but I like to tweet about and talk about cool people and doing cool shit. So this is one of them guys. But as you can see here, there actually wasn't that much of an increase in value from January to May of last year for the rookie picks, which is surprising, right? Because rookie picks tend to always increase in value, right? And my suspicion is last year it was a bit of a weird year where we had throughout the entire year, right, before January, throughout the entire year, people were talking about fading 2021 rookie picks because of COVID. Right, because these guys were taking years off. Jamar Chase took a year off. People are not playing. They're not going to be ready for the NFL. Yada 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 yada. Right. So a lot of all that type of nonsense. And then I think we really corrected in January. So you kind of saw a lot of that overcorrection in January. So that's why you probably didn't see as much increase in May. That's my guess. I don't know exactly why, but as you can see here, like there wasn't much movement. But also it was a really different year last year because of the quarterbacks. Again, like Trevor Lawrence, ever since his freshman year, was like touted as a 1.01. I was in a lot of startups, Devy startups last year. People were taking Trevor Lawrence ahead of Joe Burrow like 9 times out of 10. Like I was in the league. I took Joe Burrow first because I wanted that year of production. I was a competing team. But most of the time, people were taking Trevor Lawrence ahead of Joe Burrow. Now, obviously, that has not worked out so far because Joe Burrow is having a great second year. He had a great rookie year. So I bet you 10 times out of 10 now, people are going to take Joe Burrow over Trevor Lawrence. But that was the time, right? So it's important to set the stage, set the context of why behind some of these numbers. So I think this is really, really interesting data. And me, to myself, I'm trying to explain or try and rationalize why this was the case. That's why I want to go over in this episode. Like 2021 was a very, very unique case. It was a very, very unique class. So I'm not going to compare too many classes to them just because of how much quarterback talent was available there. But in terms of going forward, I think it's important to note this trend that I actually do think in terms of startup ADP right now, it seems like the 2022 rookie picks are undervalued because of the narrative. The narrative is very, very strong about how bad this class is. But what's going to happen come combine time, come draft time, as the focus shifts to these players, you're going to get more generational talk. You're going to get more influx of the underwear Olympics. You're going to get influx of highlights, stats. You're just going to get overloaded by rookie mania, and it happens every single year. And these two data points as of January and May, right? I don't always tell people to hold through that entire time because, like I said, there's various sell points. One is in the combine time. So if you want to unload some rookie picks, I like to unload some picks during the combine, right? And then I like to unload some picks leading up to the draft, right? Not exactly. I don't have to wait till the draft happens to do it because the hype is building throughout. So I would expect, this trend, like even though it started here and ended up flat in this chart, like I bet you that throughout that time, there were some ebbs and flows in terms of ups and downs. And last year was also very different because there was no combine, right? All you had was pro day. So that hype cycle was totally gone. So again, just another news cycle and hype cycle that got removed from the equation that can kind of help put some of these numbers into context. So I really like this comparison from Adeko, but I'm putting some context behind it in terms of why I think you can't apply it one-to-one to this year, right? And then the next chart I want to show, which he has is, sorry, one sec. I'm trying to show. Oh, here we go. Okay, yeah. The next one that I want to show is ADP of January versus May, right? So this is the last chart that I was showing. So again, just that trend that I was talking about. So you can kind of see that trend going through. But I don't think that trend will hold as strongly this year. I do think for now, it seems like 2022 rookie picks are undervalued. And if I were you, I would actually be happy to go out and acquire some of these classes while the narrative is still hung up on the fact that it's a bad class. And you can kind of see it in my ranks, like how I shift my philosophies throughout the offseason is right now, before the NFL draft happens, I really, really prioritize value insulation in terms of rookie picks. So in my ranks, you'll see my top ranked guys are going to be like wide receivers for this class because I think those are the safest to get the draft capital. It's still unclear to me where the running backs are going to go. It's still unclear to me where the quarterbacks are going to go. So for now, I'm ranking the wide receivers first. And as you guys know, for me, like I'm not going to draft a wide receiver that high. So that it kind of makes sense why the rookie pick value is a little bit lower this year compared to last year. So you're not gonna see any rookies for me ranked in like the top 20, top 30 players, right? Unlike last year or even 2020 when we had stud quarterbacks and stud running backs, right? Like Jonathan Taylor's of the world, DeAndre Swift's. Like, I was happy to rank Jonathan Taylor in the first round, in the second round before he played a snap. I was happy to rank, DeAndre Swift very highly, or Cam Akers, or even Clyde Edwards-Helaire, who obviously, eventually missed. But I was happy to do that because they were high impact positions. I was happy to rank Joe Burrow high. I was happy to rank, Justin Fields, Trevor Lawrence, all of these guys really highly. This year, I don't have that same problem, right? But that does not mean that the rookie picks are overvalued. I think if anything, if you keep following that thread from Adeko, you can see he says it can be one of two things, right? One is rookie picks are undervalued, the implied value based on these startup ADPs, or the second one is they're overinflated. You should be dumping them. To me, like, his history would tell me that the rookie picks are undervalued now, and it's just a very, very strong narrative combination of 2022 class being weak and 2023 class viewed as being one of the very, very strong ones because of the running backs that are driving it. So I think in terms of what to do, right? Like I said, you're not going to be selling veterans right now. That this is not the time. Just if you have shitty like veteran players, obviously like get rid of them. It's fine. But you're not selling guys like Stephon Diggs, Devontae Adams, like the aging guys that you want to. First of all, you should have been selling them a year ago when I was saying to sell them if you actually want to sell high. But if you missed that window and you missed the in-season window, you're just going to hold them and try and trade them again in season when the time comes. Remember, patience is key. Like playing the dynasty game is all about like timing the market. It's not so much about like just succeeding and picking the right players all the time. Like, you can pick all the right players all the time, right? Even if you pick the right players all the time, like, if you don't time it properly, you're not going to maximize your profits. You're not going to maximize your gains. And understanding the timing of it is equally important, if not more important, than player evaluation, because you can just, without even knowing anything about player evaluation, without even like thinking about your hit rates and all that, just simply knowing when to buy and when to sell will allow you to accumulate a lot of gains that would have otherwise passed you by, right? So veterans, for the most part, you're hanging on them for now. Rookie picks. Now, what do? Like I said, there's a couple of stages of selling. Now is not the time to sell the 2022 rookie picks. As you saw from the table from Adeko, you're not getting great returns yet. You're getting an average of, you're getting an average of a fourth round pick, right? For the rookie 1.01. That value will go up as the draft becomes more clear. I think a lot of what's built into the price right now for 2022 in season is uncertainty. We don't know where these quarterbacks are going to go. I don't know who the clear quarterback one of the classes is. Is it Matt Corral? Is it is it Sam Howell? Is it is it the more underrated rushing quarterback from Liberty, right? Malik Willis. I don't know. We don't have those answers. And so a lot of that is uncertainty built in. And like I said, because of uncertainty, I have wide receivers ranked highly. But as the NFL draft picture clears up, I'm going to have that cleared up as well. So what do? You hold the ones you have right now, right? And you wait. You wait until either the combine or the rookie draft to grab them. And I think you can actually acquire rookie picks as well for now, because not only is it the protected value from where they are now versus where they will be in May, or even at the end of January, February, March, as combine comes through, but there's a lot of optionality. It's a lot more liquid. And at this time, right? At this time, I like to have a lot of liquidity, right? And that's saying something, because in the NFT world, if you guys know me, I'm struggling with liquidity there. I always want to buy the next thing, but I don't have enough money to do it. So similarly, bringing that over to Dynasty world, if you think about it, over the next 3 to 4 months, this is the crucial time for dynasty building. So you want to have as much liquid currency as you can to convert them into the players that you need for your team, whether it's a wide receiver. The rookie picks do not have positions, right? It's positionless. So if you hold a rookie pick, it doesn't matter if you're missing wide receivers, running backs, quarterbacks, whatever. You will be able to replenish them with rookie picks because they are liquid currency. What this ADP does not show you is the liquidity factor. And I talk about that all the time. January to April, I want to stay liquid, right? Obviously, you want to stay liquid throughout the entire year, but I'm more than willing to trade off liquidity in season to get me an edge in terms of scoring, but I'm not willing to do that in the offseason. There's no reason to do that. You don't need to think about player projections. At this point in the offseason, I don't even care about positions on my teams. If I go into a draft in the offseason, I don't care about positions. I'm only thinking about value accrual between now and the start of the season and liquidity between now and the start of the season. So as much liquidity as you can acquire is what you want to do. So like I said, if you are in leagues where they allow you to trade to the contending team still, try and get some of that liquidity. It could be 2022, it could be 2023, it doesn't matter. But if you've been like me, if you've been carrying through what I practice and what I preach, you would have accumulated a lot of your liquidity up until this point. So I'm not going to talk about trying to go out and buy rookie picks, because if you listen to me, you would have already bought a lot of them. 2022, 2023, it doesn't matter. They're all undervalued. So now you have your liquidity pool. So it's important to preserve the liquidity pool. Do not go out and make a bunch of trades giving up multiple first-round picks for players, right? Don't do that. There's no need for you to do that yet. Protect that liquidity, protect the value storage, and only make the trade once it gets to the rookie draft. Once you get to the rookie draft, that's when I'm looking to target veterans. I'm not talking about like super old veterans. I'm still trying to target guys who have experience in the league, but who are a little bit older and fill my team needs, right? So that's the time where, hey, if I need a wide receiver, I'm gonna start knocking on people's doors and seeing how much a Claypool cost me, right? How much a Brandon Ayuk cost me? How much if I want to be a little bit riskier, how much a Calvin Ridley cost me, right? And those are the types of guys I'm looking to get with those late first round picks, early second round picks. I'm looking to see where I can grab that veteran value, and then if I'm on a contending team, that's when I start sending out feelers for the Stephon Diggs, the Devontae Adams, the guys that are getting a little bit older, where when you buy them, you recognize the fact that, hey, I'm taking this player onto my team as production. I'm not taking them on my team with the expectation to sell for higher than I got them, or to even sell for anything of meaningful value. I'm taking these players on my team to most likely retire or ride into the sunset, ride out whatever years they have left on the rest of my team. Guys like Leonard Fournette, right? Guys like James Conner, guys like Chase Edmonds, even. Like, these are the types of guys where you can kind of start exploring for rookie picks values come draft time. But from now until then, it's all about preserving your liquidity. So please, 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 for the love of God, do not start going out with on a buying spree with all your rookie picks right now. Like, even if Adeko's chart from 2021 holds true, and this is as high as as high of a value as those rookie picks will get, it still pays to hold to have the optionality and the liquidity and the options to build your team and fill the gaps you need. Because there's a lot of time between now and May, right? Like, players are going to get signed, free agency, there's going to be trades, not trades, but players are going to get signed in the offseason. There's going to be holes, right? There's going to be potential injuries in the offseason. So you want to try and remain flexible as much as you can. So I always preach about, flexibility, and the true legend himself, Bruce Lee, always talks about, be water, right? And that's what I try to do in my dynasty games. I'm always trying to be water. I'm always trying to be flexible, and the best way to do it between now and April is to hold on to your rookie picks, right? Unless you're getting like Godfather offers, and which I don't think you'll get because it's not hype season yet. But if you do get a Godfather offer, like, oh, I'll give you Jamar Chase for your 1.05 and your 1.110, sure, go ahead and take that, right? But those offers aren't going to be coming to you very often, so I wouldn't be too worried about them. For now, you just want to hold the liquidity, and at least until the combine. There's like really no reason to start trading away or diluting your liquidity and trading away your rookie picks until at least the combine, the first hype cycle of the offseason, the combine, right? And then ideally, I start liquidating my rookie picks between the combine and the NFL draft. A lot of people say, like, hey, don't ever trade your picks until you're actually on the clock. I disagree. I don't think you need to wait until you're on the clock, because once you're on the clock, right, you're no longer selling a dream, right? You're selling a player, right? And what is the one thing I preach about rookie picks is you're selling it. You want to sell a dream. You don't want to sell a specific player. You want to sell possibilities, right? So if you're holding on to 1.03, right, everyone in the back of their minds like, hey, it's a possibility that my 1.01 might not be their 1.01, right? There's that dream. So, and also it gives you more time for negotiation. You don't want to be the guy that's like burning like 5 hours on the clock every single time trying to look for trades. Start exploring those trades early, because by the time your rookie draft comes around, like a week before, 2 weeks before, a lot of the value is already baked in. There's no need to try and be a penny pincher and try and squeeze that extra little bit and trade away all the flexibility and all the possibilities and the ability to sell your league mate the dream of landing their player, right? That's the key, is like you're not just trying to sell a player, you're trying to sell your league mates the possibility of landing their player. Like, oh yeah, that guy might fall. Like, that's possible. There's a lot of movements, right? This guy might fall, or I can trade for that pick and then trade up and get my guy. Like, there's so many possibilities that you're trying to sell to these guys, to your league mates throughout this process, that you don't need to wait until the last second. Once you wait till the last second, the only guys that are going to come knocking on your door are other people that are first round picks and people that are interested in the players remaining, right? And that's not a place you want to be. In my opinion, the maximum value you get for a rookie pick is a week or two, before your actual rookie draft occurs, right? And for some of you guys out there like me, if you're degens, you have rookie drafts before the NFL draft. It's a total shit show. It's a degen gambler's paradise. And then for others that like to wait till after the NFL draft, that's fine too. But the greatest amount of value and the greatest amount of liquidity you have is a couple weeks leading up to it. So there's no need to wait till the last second. Like, I think that is a very, very tired narrative that I hear all the time. It's like, oh yeah, the most value you get is when you're on the clock, and that's just simply not true. And at least in my experience, that's not true. Like, maybe you get that lucky time where like a guy falls to someone really loves and they overpay. But to me, like, I'd always rather sell into a pool of 10 players, 10 to 11 players versus a pool of 3 to 4, because it's just simple supply and demand, right? The more buyers there are, the more you can charge. And generally speaking, that lands you a better return for value, better bang for buck. All right. So I hope you guys enjoyed. That's all I have for you guys this week. It's like I said, it's a little bit of a repeat from some prior episodes, but also some new stuff added in there, because I think now is a really, really important time to cover this stuff, because I don't want you guys going in the offseason trying to fire sale all of your veteran guys and then like paying it up for rookie picks, because that's a destruction of value. If you follow me up until now, by now you would have accumulated a lot of rookie picks. It seems like 2022 rookie picks can still be had for a discount, which is nice, but you would have accumulated most of your liquidity picks. But the important part here is to stay liquid, man. Stay liquid, stay flexible. It'll pay off for you in the long run. Just remain patient. There's no need to rush things. Remain patient. Wait till the combine. Wait till a couple weeks before your draft until you start converting that liquid currency, that gold, into real hard-earned production from veteran players, right? And then, make sure you guys hop on the Discord. We're doing great things over there in the Wolfpack Discord, patreon.com/ourpack. That's patreon.com/ourpack. I'm actually working on the rankings this weekend on Monday, so I'll be dropping it then. And for those of you guys that have questions, like I release my rankings monthly, usually on the first of the month, sometimes a couple days after, just depending on how the weekend shapes out. But if you're wondering, like in terms of the draft, I'm gonna be releasing like a new set of rankings immediately, like after the draft, like a couple days after the draft, however long it takes me to digest. If the draft happens like on the weekend, usually like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday latest of that following week, you're going to have the rankings ready for you, so you guys can use it in your rookie drafts and use it in your dynasty startup drafts and whatever you want to do. All right, so hop on over. That's how you get access to all my ranks, whether it's Devi, whether it's startup, whether it's NFL, rookies, whatever. All that stuff, Superflex, Tight End Premium, will be available to Patreon members on a monthly basis. More importantly, though, the community there is thriving. A lot of smart people in there. We talk football mostly, but we also talk some crypto, NFT stuff, because the community is like, the Wolfpack community is not just like fantasy football. It's like my connection to y'all. So, you're going to get a little bit of everything that I do in my life. And again, none of it's going to be like financial advice or investment advice, anything like that. It's just me shooting the shit, talking about projects that I think are cool. All right. So if you're into fantasy football, you're into dynasty, you're really trying to up your strategy and become a much, much better strategic player for 2022, there's no better money spent than that, which will get you into my Patreon. All right. And then lastly, we're still in partnerships with Dynasty Nerds. If you guys don't know Dynasty Nerds, Dynasty Rich, Dynasty Matt, Garrett Price, Jared Wackley, love those dudes. They're building something cool, something great over there. One of the true Dynasty OGs in the space, but one of the coolest things they have is the Dynasty GM tool, which is a tool that allows you to kind of get an overview, bird's eye view of all your leagues. It tells you how you rank according to your league mates. It's just a great way to help you manage multiple leagues. So for someone like me, I have like 25 something leagues that I play in throughout the year. It's a great place to centralize all the information, have you look through and sort through your teams, helps you identify your team's weaknesses by position. It helps you, come to Jesus really with your teams, right? Like, is my team a true contender? Some people can't answer that question. It's a great way to look at that and say, okay, wow, like Dynasty is telling me like I'm really a middle of the pack player when I thought I was a top 3. It's time to be real with myself about where my team is at, and potentially enter that rebuild. Or like, oh, like I thought my team was a little bit weaker. Dynasty Nerds telling me like I'm actually like top 3 in the class, so maybe I need to think about pushing some more chips in to really extend that lead. So a great tool. If you go over there, use one of the referral links in the comments below, or just use promo code Wolfpack. You'll get a 20% off discount off everything on their site, including the Dynasty GM tool, the Nerd Herd, which I've been a member of ever since I started fantasy football. So again, just great guys, great group of folks, some awesome tools. Go over there and check that out and get a discount for yourself if you do. All right, that's all I got for you guys this week. Like I said before, Happy New Year. Hope you guys had a great 2021. I know I had a freaking crazy 2021. If you told me I was doing like half the shit that I was doing in 2021 between NFTs and all that stuff, like fantasy football, meeting people in real life, going to the fantasy football convention, like all the crazy stuff that happened in 2021, surviving COVID, moving, all this shit, I would have told you you're lying. But that's the life of a degenerate, man. I tweeted that out, like, life of degen, you don't know, man. Shit's just unpredictable. I don't know where I'm going to be in 2022, but I'm excited to see what it has in store. I know I'm working hard behind the scenes. I know Nick, BDG, everyone on the team is working hard behind the scenes. So it's all about what we can do heading forward. So I wish you guys a great 2022. Kick off your new year right. Start on those goals and do whatever the fuck you guys wanted to do, because time is not waiting. And, if my time in the NFT space has taught me anything, like, man, life moves fucking quick. All right. So, like, just get on your shit, man, and do what it is you guys are trying to do. Because I know I'm gonna be hustling, grinding, breaking content for you guys, and just doing what I do and what I've been doing for the past couple of years. All right, so hope you guys enjoyed. Hope you guys like it. Hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, follow me on Twitter at MikeMeUp with 2 P's. As always, I will be on there until my Twitter gets hacked or I get banned or whatever. But I'm gonna be on there shooting the shit with you guys. And I appreciate all the DMs, by the way. A lot of people DM'd and said like, hey, thanks, Happy New Year, thanks for all the content you guys done. I mean, this is why we do it, man. Like, I'm not making money from this stuff, really. Like, I've made every dollar I've made through my Patreon, I've reinvested back into the BDG team, BDG brand, for like, getting editors, whatever it is, whatever we're doing, because I believe in the brand. Like, I'm not actually taking money out of this. Like, I don't do this for money. I do this because I like it. And one day, I might not like it anymore. As soon as that stops, you will not see me creating content anymore. Because and I struggled with this a little bit last year, or a little bit this year, and I tweeted about it. It's like, I used to create content because that was my way of getting better at fantasy football, right? Like, so everything I talked about was practice. I was literally doing it in the leagues, and I was seeing what's working, what's not working, sharing with you guys. And, this year it felt a lot like, I was creating content. I was playing in leagues for the sake of creating content, right? And I joined more leagues. I honestly, to like be truthful with everyone, like, I don't enjoy fantasy football as much as I enjoyed it 3 years ago. I still love it. I still think it's fantastic. It's a great way to play. But just between my time spent in like NFTs and all that stuff, like, I'm starting to realize like there's other things out there, but I don't want to create shitty content. So I'm still playing in leagues. Like, that's a main reason why I haven't left any leagues. I haven't stopped playing the game, is because I really do feel like to be a good content creator, and to speaking from practice and telling you guys stuff that works in real life, like, you gotta play in league. So, I'm kind of striking that balance, and I don't know when that will be. Like, maybe one day I won't enjoy making content as much, and then I'll stop playing in leagues. But hopefully that doesn't come soon. But just give you guys, honestly, just a little bit of insight into how I'm thinking and what I've been going through this year. But it's been interesting. So I don't know how I feel about that. I don't think it's positive. I don't think it's negative. Just a little observation that I made. Is like, man, like, I asked myself, like, why am I playing leagues? Like, well, I need to play in leagues because I'm still making content for folks, and I need that experience. I need those real life data points to like develop my strategy to help people with their game. So, that's why I'm doing it still. I'll probably still be doing it for a long time. So you guys aren't gonna get rid of me, but it's just, just some food for thought. Like I said, just a little bit of a reflection piece here as we kick into 2022. All right, that's all I got for you guys this week. Until next week, Peace.